Hello and welcome. This is the Marketplace. It's been a rainy afternoon, but your business still matters. Here we're going to analyze the market, talk about trends and investment, and how global development is actually going to impact your business activities here in Ghana. Another program today, Executive Director of the Forum for Agriculture Research in Africa, Dr. Yemi Akimba, has called on African government to increase support for research into agriculture to enhance productivity. These and more we'll be looking at here on the Marketplace. You can keep your comments and others coming. On Facebook, it's Joy Business. For more, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is John Kojo Amwaku. We're back with more here on the Marketplace. You're welcome back. And the first story, Executive Director of the Forum for Agriculture Research in Africa, Dr. Yemi Akimba, has called on African government to increase support for research into agriculture to enhance productivity. African countries are among the lowest on the list of countries that have integrated science and technology in agriculture. Speaking to journalists ahead of the 4-day conference and exhibition in the Rwanda, Dr. Akimba noted that the lack of investment in agriculture is stifling economic growth on the continent.
Africa is still the lowest country with assimilation of science in its production system. I was sharing a picture yesterday with our Director for Corporate Partnerships. I've just come back from a mission in Rome, in an Italian city. And I was on this mission with the board chair of FARA. We stopped at a place, but we looked at how they operate as a cooperative and transforming business, making business out of agriculture. And as we were going, then they said, oh, but would you like to see our museum in the cellar? So we went downstairs. It was interesting. And there I saw hoes, saw sickle, and it really came to life. So I told the board chair, please hold that hoe, let me take a photograph. So I can still show people that it is true when we say that hoes and cutlasses are now in the museum in Europe, not on the fields. They have tractors there. But in Africa, today, you cannot go 5 kilometers, you find a 5-year-old, he will show you his hoe or her hoe. So, and that's not how you're going to feed 1.5 billion people coming in the next 10 years. That's why today we are still a net importer. How far can you go with hoes and cutlasses? When your competitors sit in an air-conditioned John Deere tractor with Starbucks coffee in their hand, cultivating 100 hectares per day.
And the mobile operator Vodafone says the current economic environment has impacted on its operations negatively. The company has in the recent times seen growth slowed whilst inflation has been on the increase, a development that has impacted on disposable income. Speaking to Joy Business, Chief Executive Yolande Zuleka Cube says the environment has affected subscriber spending.
4G, it's not really around us not wanting to play in data. Firstly, we still have a long way to actually include a lot more people in terms of coverage and capacity in terms of the current 3G spectrum that we have. However, 4G obviously takes us to the next level. As rather than not saying we don't want to play in data, we absolutely want to play in data. We are playing in data and we will continue to invest in 3G. However, at this stage, the price expectation on 4G is a little bit too difficult for us to meet.
And Vodafone said it has no immediate plans to apply for a 4G license to operate. The chief executive says this has been influenced by the company's current financial position.
For all consumer spending around discretionary spend, when something like electricity actually goes up by a material portion, obviously hits the consumer in their pockets. So discretionary spending tends to actually go down. However, because people want to actually be connected, and also there's still room for us to actually increase the number of people that are on our base, we're constantly actually doing that. So from an total impact perspective, a little less than what one would expect. However, from an individual consumer who was our consumer, let's say a month ago, some of them have dropped slightly in terms of what their usage was.
And President Mahama has touched on how entrepreneurship programs are serving as a foundation for strong digital IT market in Ghana as the digital economy develops rapidly worldwide. Speaking at the opening of the African Mobile and ICT Expo in Accra, President Mahama said it is the single most important driver of innovation, competitiveness and growth, and holds huge potential, especially for SMEs.
Today we live in a digital and knowledge-based economy. It's no longer about production lines, but the intellectual and digital capacity of systems and people. This results in diverse opportunities for growth and job creation. It offers much more opportunity than ever existed before. With digital knowledge, our young men and women have information in their palms that would enable them succeed. One area of opportunity for our youth is in ICT services and applications. In the last few years, we have made significant progress in the sphere of entrepreneurship, support, and incubation programs. These are serving as a foundation for a strong digital ICT market, which involves the creation of an environment conducive for innovation and IT-enabled services and opportunities.
And the CEO of Coasters Company Limited, organizers of the ICT Fair, George Spencer Quay, promised to link innovative APP developers to several business organizations and called for policy to guide ICT in the country.
There's a lot of businesses that came about as a result of MOBEX 15. We are hoping that after MOBEX 16, a lot more, businesses would generate. Again, some solutions. You all remember Asoriba, which we unveiled last year. One of the apps, one of the guys we gave opportunity to. Currently, as we speak, it was voted the best app for Africa at the conference in Copenhagen not too long ago, a couple of months back. They've been able to earn for themselves $500,000 funding. Again, we've had a couple of app developers getting funding for their project that has been after post that is post MOBEX 15. We expect an even more business engagement post MOBEX 16. But most important thing is that we put together a report which is submitted to the ministry, and we believe that it is informing the policies, some of the policies that we are seeing. Mind you, we need a digital economy policy in order to regulate and be able to successfully tap into the new economy phenomenon. So we are hoping that MOBEX 16 will serve as the foundational blocks for that development, for that to successfully happen. And that is why we believe that it's not, MOBEX doesn't end after the last day of the conference and exhibition. It's more like a year thing, because what we do is we'll definitely be putting together again our report, which we'll submit to the ministry.
We also spoke to some participants and exhibitors who shared their thoughts with us at the fair.
We are now in the knowledge-based economy, and for that matter, the world is changing. So ICT is the order of the day. We've digitized the syllabus for GHS and SHS students. So with this intervention, which is the Smart Study Kit, is to leverage education to both those who have and those who don't have, so that they could all have access to quality education at the end of the day.
What we have here is an events app called Perlu. It basically shows you all the events happening in town that you will like. So when you are signing in for the first time, it asks you just a few questions, which lets the app know the kind of events that you would like to go to. So it shows you a stream of events, and it's real time. Any event happening all over Ghana, you'll find it on the app.
We are taking a quick break. We'll be back with more here on the Marketplace. Please stay. You're welcome back. Now, bags, purses, slippers, you name it, all handmade with the touch of the African fabric. That's what has made Sims one of the biggest brands in the fashion industry here in Ghana. It is run by one of the country's celebrated creative entrepreneurs, Mabel Simpson. She featured on the Joy Business Fund, sharing her journey to success.
Mabel Simpson is taking the Ghana fashion industry by storm with the handmade accessories all created from her garage. Mabel, who studied communication design at the university, started Sims at age 25. That was 2 years after school. She was working for a marketing company in Accra when the idea came to her. She started with 200 Ghana cedis and a sewing machine she got from her grandma.
The idea was one that even my parents didn't buy into. It was me working and wanting to stop and, start making accessories with the African print. And for me, I didn't have a business plan or anything. But I remember when I was working, there was a colleague of mine, Jeff. I sold the idea to him, and I remember one thing he said to me was, Mabel, I don't believe in you, but I believe in your idea. Go and make it happen. Wow. So he gave me 100 Ghana cedis to start with, and I also had 100 Ghana cedis for my savings. Bought a few raw materials, went to a seamstress who used to make my clothing for me. We started making a few things, and that's how Sims started.
Mabel's passion is to promote products made in Ghana.
And I wanted to see, people believe in made in Ghana products again. We had, back in the days, we had the tomato factory, we had the shoe factory, Commander Sugar Factory, and all these factories, but they had all been run down. But I wanted to revive that. That's what made me start Sims.
Mabel has carved a niche for herself over the years. She's sought after at exhibitions both home and abroad. Her accessories are sold in the US, Australia, Nigeria, and South Africa. She's gained so many recognitions for her work. A feature on her by the BBC was perhaps one of her biggest breakthroughs.
For me, I didn't imagine it was going to happen. I never thought about being on the BBC, but when I got a call from Akwesi Sapon that he wanted to feature me on BBC World, we were like, wow. And for me, the day it was showing, I think I shed a few tears because I just couldn't imagine looking at myself on the BBC, It was good. I mean, I had calls coming. I remember there was a lady who called from the UK saying she wanted to do my PR for me. Like, hey,
that's big.
Wow, that's big. But it's good. It gives you credibility. It gives you, it tells you that you need to work hard. You have all eyes on you now, just not in Ghana, but globally. People are looking at you. And it also told me that whatever I was doing, I need to do it and do it well because I don't know who is watching. So for me, it was a good platform.
It's a tough business environment, but Mabel sticks to the principles of time management, efficiency, loyalty, and trust. She currently employs 6 workers but has created indirect employment for many as she sources 80% of her raw materials locally. Mabel is entrepreneurial at heart and plans to train more young people to be like her.
Aside growing our own business, we're also looking at helping other young people start their own businesses, especially young women. Currently, we have one young lady we are assisting to start a brand. So we hope that in the near future, we'll assist more people to start whatever they want to do.
Tell you what, it was great having you on the Joy Business Fund.
Thank you for having me. I did enjoy my ride. Don't forget to tune in next week Wednesday to see who takes a ride in the Joy Business Van.
And that was Mabel Simpson of Sims on the Joy Business Van. You can actually catch the Joy Business Van every Wednesday at 5 p.m. with Darryl Kwalfe. And now moving on here, Accra has been named as the next city to join Abe's booming network in Africa. Accra's thriving population would have access to Uber transport through the ride-sharing platform. Joy Business spoke to the CEO of Uber ahead of the official launch later today.
So Uber is a technology company. We have a smartphone application which connects riders to drivers at a touch of a button. So we don't own any cars, we don't employ any drivers. Uber is really just a technology platform enabling entrepreneurs to grow and scale their businesses. So we create economic opportunity using technology. Across the continent, there are over 6,000 driver partners making use of our technology, scaling and growing their own businesses.
So what made you choose Ghana?
So going back to those points, growing middle class, high smartphone penetration, very entrepreneurial culture, very tech savvy, people who want increased mobility in their cities. People are looking for alternatives to drinking and driving. We think that Uber brings an alternative to car ownership. We're hopeful that it's very bright. As I said, we've seen huge demand for people wanting Uber to come to Ghana. We think there'll be huge demand. We've seen great growth in Nigeria, in Kenya. Obviously, each city, each country is different, but there are a lot of similarities, and we think that there's a lot right with Ghana that will make Uber a success here. We're really excited about being here for drivers, increased economic opportunity for existing transport providers. It's about minimizing the downtime, maximizing the time that they spend on trips, earning income on the Uber platform.
Okay, so how are you going to calculate the payment for the trip?
The trip is charged per kilometer and per minute. The charge per minute is 19 pesos per minute, and it's 81 pesos per kilometer. So there's a distance and time component. You can request a fare estimate using the application. It's completely transparent. At the end of the trip, the amount of the fare will be displayed on your application as well as the driver's phone. So it's complete transparency.
Now, envisaging the potential of ICT as an enabling tool for leveraging economic development, youth in ICT have been presented with the opportunity to expand their businesses. MTN Ghana Foundation is partnering with the Ghana Multimedia Incubation to promote the usage of digital application in the country. The project, which was launched in Accra today, will see the training of some selected youth who will mature into viable business ventures. Corporate Service Executive of MTN Ghana, Cynthia Lomo, spoke to Joy Business.
MTN is partnering with the GMIC, Ghana Multimedia Incubation Center, because of the opportunity it provides to progress the use of digital applications. MTN Ghana Foundation, which is the arm through which we do all of our corporate social investment activities, has three focus areas: education, health, and economic empowerment. And this partnership actually falls squarely in the area of economic empowerment, because a lot of the time you see that people have ideas and so on, and they don't really have the business savvy, or they don't have the help that they need to kind of take the business to the next level. So this partnership that MTN is having with GMIC is primarily to help that aspect of their business, give them the tools, give them the space, and give them the kind of capacity development that will help, because it is not just about developing applications. You also have to make sure that people believe in the applications that you are developing, people will invest in it, people will buy it, and so on.
Meanwhile, the Communications Minister, Dr. Edward Omane Boama, in a speech admonished the youth to equip themselves with the needed technological skills in order to catch up with the space.
Talking about Internet of Things, this is the moment. We are moving from IPv4 to IPv6. Huge potential in terms of the internet space. I was with the internet engineers some 2 years ago, and as we kept on discussing what the tubular world has for you and for me, and particularly for the generations to come, the opportunities inherent in IPv6 is enormous and it's amazing. Just as Bob Kahn and Vincent could not tell how the internet was going to look like 20 years on. It is the same way that you and I cannot tell how the internet, broadband, is going to change our world 20 years from today. But at least we can determine how that opportunity that lies ahead of us is exploited for the benefit of mankind, for the benefit of the individuals gathered here, and for the benefit of our nation.
Industrial entities that produce their own power for the operations or directly purchase power in bulk from power producers will, before the end of the year, be required to invest in a certain amount of renewable energy. This includes mining firms and steel companies whose operations depend heavily on the power. According to the Energy Commission, the initiative is geared towards achieving the 10% renewable energy target in the country's energy mix by 2020. The Director of Technical Regulations, Dr. Nida Kwansanti, explains further.
We passed the Renewable Energy Law at the end of 2011. One of the provisions was that there will be what we call a renewable energy purchase obligation on all consumers. So the distribution companies would have to purchase a certain amount of renewable energy, and all consumers who bought directly from generators, so that's the bulk customers, so large mining companies, a few of like the steel companies and so on. Those who have negotiated power directly would also have to negotiate power with some renewable energy providers, so that we would hit our 10%. You know, we have a target of 10% renewable energy. You can't produce 10% and nobody is taking it. So the way to achieve the 10% is to create the demand for it. And that demand will be by requiring consumers to purchase renewable energy.
So that will be it here on the marketplace for today. We know it's been quite rainy, so be careful when you're actually leaving your homes and your houses. My name is John Kojo Amwako, but you can stay interactive with us. If you want to actually tweet, our handle is JoyBusinessGH, and on Facebook it's Joy Business. For more, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. Have a very good afternoon.